A gay child protection activist named Kristopher Kamienik, who can often be seen holding a Gays Against Groomers signs in protests across the lower mainland that are opposing radical gender ideology and sexually explicit learning resources in schools, has pled guilty for mischief in regards to tearing down a Progress Pride flag in North Vancouver's Lonsdale Quay area. I'm Drea Humphrey with Rebel News, bringing you an update on what took place in court this past Friday when Kamienik entered his guilty plea, and also bringing you an interview with him himself.
At the end of the day, we're all here because we want to protect children. And that's what this main focus is about, protecting children and protecting our community.
At Rebel News, we certainly don't condone any criminal activity that includes politically motivated vandalism. In fact, if you're concerned about the sexualization of kids happening in schools like Kristopher Kamienik, we actually have a special dedicated website where you can take civil action against that. It's called stopclassroomgrooming.com, and you can sign our petition and share it there, which will be delivered to ministers of education across the country. But one thing we do stand for at Rebel News is our commitment to tell you the other side of the story. For example, look at this North Shore News article here about Kamienik's case, which leads heavy with the Crown's argument that Kamienik acted in hate, while appearing to hope that its readers will lose interest before making it all the way to 3/4 down in the article, where they can finally learn that Kamienik himself is a gay man. Now, if you'd like a more in-depth rundown on the arguments that went back and forth in court on Friday, you can find that in my written article, which is linked in the description box below. But in short, Kamienik actually pled guilty to 2 counts of mischief, one pertaining to the tearing down of the Progress Pride flag, which is the one with the triangle on it, which represents trans and non-binary people. People of color are also thrown in there. Who knows why? Hard to keep up. And the other was stemming from allegations that during COVID-19 lockdowns, he took a Sharpie and wrote offensive messages on the offices of 2 pro-COVID restriction MLAs. Now, unlike the pro-Drag for Kid Antifa thugs who assaulted Kamienik right in front of RCMP officers at a protest without any legal ramifications. The Crown prosecutor agreed with Kamienik's defense lawyer, Jordan Allingham, that Kamienik should receive a conditional discharge for the Sharpie vandalism, but differed with the defense for the flag offense in saying that he should receive a suspended sentence, which would include a criminal record, 1-year probation, and restrictions preventing him from going to the Lonsdale Quay area. Crown argued that being motivated by hate should be an aggregating factor in the judge's decision, saying that Kamienik's actions with the flag were hateful towards the LGBTQ plus community, despite him technically being a part of it. And at one point, she began arguing something along the lines of saying that although he's a gay man, he has heterosexual views. I'm not sure what that meant. Allingham, on the other hand, argued that Kamienik should receive a conditional discharge for both offenses, considering his guilty plea, that he has a previously clean record, the challenges he faced during lockdown, as well as what you'll hear in my interview with Kamienik, the troubles he faced as a child, which included bullying and being victim of child grooming, which led to being sexually molested by 2 different individuals. Allingham also argued that Kamienik was not motivated by hate, says that removing the flag was an act of expression that he is now remorseful for, and said that Kamienik, to him, the flag is exclusionary, and that he opposes the gender dysphoric ideology that if pushed on him more as a child, it would mean that he wouldn't be free to be a gay man today. The judge reserved her decision for a later date, but here's what Kamienik had to say when I caught up with him after the hearing.
The reason I chose to plead guilty is because there's no denying the fact that, yes, I did go down to Lonsdale Quay and remove the rainbow flag. I've never kept any secrets about that. I do post a lot to social media. And at the end of the day, it's about protecting kids and protecting my community, and that's why I did what I did.
Now, the main thing here is that you have the Crown arguing, hey, it's in the best interest of the public for you to receive a criminal record here, saying that in particular, the judge should consider that would be hate in this situation, and that because it pertains to the LGBTQ community, you should have a criminal record. What do you make of that, given that you're a gay man?
Well, I find it strange that they're trying to call it a hate crime, especially with their testimony today or the submissions when they're only showing video of me basically denouncing pedophilia and pedos. There was nothing in the videos pertaining to being anti-trans or anything against the gender diverse community or whatever they want to call themselves. My advocacy has always been about protecting children. At the end of the day, we need to stop the sexualization of children, the grooming of children in schools with this SOGI 123 program, and just stop confusing kids that they could be trans. That's not true.
What did you want to share about some of the things that have happened to you?
Well, yes, I think my past is a key factor in what's prompted me to do what I do. I think it's also because of what has happened to me in the past, it has empowered me to speak out for people who are scared to speak out and to show people who have been sexually abused as a child that we're all survivors, and to find the strength to come out and speak out again. It's staying silent about sexual abuse or what they're doing to children now is being compliant in what's going on, and we need to speak out. So, yes, the things that happened to me as a child were traumatic, but I think it's given me the strength. I mean, I'm still here at the age of 51, and it's my job and my duty to protect my community and protect children, especially from pedophilia. And I know firsthand what grooming is, and maybe I just see it a little bit more clearly than some people. Grooming means premeditated. About a build up. So in my case, where the gentleman that abused me was in our lives, he was part of the Big Brothers Association, and it was a slow process. It was basically a decade-long process to get to the point where he actually sexually abused me, which went on for a number of years into my teenage years. So grooming is predatory.
Now, like I said, we have to wait to see what the judge says here. You did this act with the flag as a form of expression. If you had the choice to do it again, would you? What do you have to say about it?
I found other avenues now to express my frustration through my artwork. I've got a good support system. Yes, I did what I did. My intentions were never to harm or hurt anybody. On the flip side, I've felt a lot of bullying and harassment during the COVID pandemic, which just antagonized and prompted me even more. Just my own frustration. So what I did is not hateful, but it's out of frustration. So we need to be clear on that. It's not a hate crime. It's just frustration.
Now, you had a group of people who came here today to show support both for your cause against some of the radical gender ideology being taught in schools, and to be here for you today. What do you want to say about that and anybody else who's concerned about your plight?
Well, it's great to have a great support system. These people that have been with me now for a few years, and I know them very well. And at the end of the day, we're all here because we want to protect children. And that's what this main focus is about, protecting children and protecting our community.
So what do you think? I mean, if you're the head of the Métis Association behaving Christophobically by dressing up as Jesus Christ and chanting F the church, nobody tells you that you're acting in hate. I mean, it's not like nearly 100 churches across the country have been burnt or vandalized since 2021 or anything. Or if you're a Jew hater, driving back and forth over an Israeli flag and chanting something like, I don't know, Free Palestine, you're probably more likely to get coffee and donuts from the police in Canada than you are to be arrested for some sort of hate crime. So, do you think the judge will side on the error of a stricter sentence for Kristopher Kamienik, a gay man and sexual abuse survivor as a child, who tore down a flag that no longer represents the actual LGBTQ plus community to many in Canada, but instead represents a radically driven political agenda? Let me know in the comments. Drea Humphrey for Rebel News. At Rebel News, we don't back down from telling you the other side of the story or letting you know how you can take a civil stand. Go to stopclassroomgrooming.com if you're tired of the sexual indoctrination happening to kids in schools, and sign and share our petition there so that we can send your concerns to ministers of education across the country.